On our way to Las Vegas, we're gonna pass by the Rhyolite ghost town. We're going to visit Mount Charleston with my high school friend Rafa. Then, after briefly getting dazzled by the shiny neon lights, we're going to visit Lake Mead, Hoover Dam, the Valley of Fire, on our way to yet another amazing state, Utah and Zion National Park. I'm riding in my RV, wherever I want to be, 'cause I'm free in my RV. Greetings from Nevada. Soon after we entered Nevada, coming from Death Valley, we encountered the Rhyolite historic gold mining town site. The town, named after an igneous rock, was a booming town during the early 1900s. It was founded in 1905 as a mining camp, and within barely 2 to 3 years, it already had a population close to 5,000, electric light, running water, telephones, newspapers, a hospital, a school, an opera house, and even a stock exchange. But it busted almost as quickly as it boomed when the mine closed. And by 1920, it was already a ghost town. And today, all that is left is this handful of ruins here. How about lunch?
Well, sauteing some fish here in the RV. You know, it would be really cool to have one of those Rangers they have in boats that they swing around, you know, because we are totally off level here. But hey, at least we have a great view here. Oh, and there's snow on the ground.
This here used to be the Cook Bank building from 1908. It had a post office in the basement, and the bank and offices.
It's in the 30s. And check it out. There is snow here on the ground. I think it's melting, but well, after I eat, I'm gonna check out the town real quick, and then we continue towards Las Vegas.
By the way, very beautiful area. Let's check this one out, the Porter Brothers store. They actually had 3 other stores in California, and they brought all the merchandise across Death Valley. And that's what remains of the second school building. Hard to imagine this used to be a bustling town back in 1908, and how quickly it dwindled down into nothing. There's the bottle house. We're going to see it later. There's once again the schoolhouse, which actually never got much use because of the downturn. Most of the children left before it was finished. The Overbury building and the Porter Brothers store once again. And a very photogenic travel trailer almost in front of the Cook Bank building. There's the train station called Las Vegas and Tonopah Depot.
Let's see what this building is here towards the end. And then we continue towards Las Vegas. Sure what this was, can't really read.
Yeah, my eyesight is not what it used to be. But even if it was, it is kind of hard to read.
Oh, casino! This used to be the casino. Pretty cool. And that's probably a Union Pacific caboose there. Oh yeah, pavement ends right there, so we're gonna go back. Nieve in Nevada.
Yeah, I don't get to see snow much.
Too bad they have it all fenced up. Would have been nice to explore.
Let's go, but first, let's stop by the bottle house.
Well, here we have some info about the town of Rhyolite.
Okay, let's get some info. I really wish we could get closer. The bottle house was erected in 1906, only to be raffled off. Not the smoothest of roads, huh? Let's stop here by the Goldwell Open Air Museum. This one here is a tribute to Shorty Harris, who was a legendary prospector. Originally created for the Las Vegas Discovery Children Museum and then restored and brought here, most appropriately named Sit Here. Here's another work of art, and I actually have no idea what this one is all about. By the way, the museum was founded in 1984 by Belgian sculptor Albert Sukalski. Albert Sukalski became famous for works like this one, in which he would wrap live models in fabric soaked in wet plaster, and then remove the model, of course, when the plaster was set. His main work of art? This one, called The Last Supper, dating back to 1984, the same year he began the museum. He died in the year 2000, but his legacy lives on here. That one, which looks like something out of Minecraft, is Lady Desert, the Venus of Nevada, a 1992 work by Hugo Heyermann. Here's another Albert Sukalski work called Ghost Rider. It says open, so let's go in. It's always good when they have free information, right? But inside, it is pretty much a gift shop. This last one is Icora, representing a female counterpoint to the Greek myth of Icarus. Let's continue on our journey towards Las Vegas. Tonight I am invited to dinner with an old high school friend whom I haven't seen since 1987, and tomorrow we might explore Mount Charleston together. Sounds like fun, right? We are going into this town called Beatty, and from here we're going to turn onto US 95. There, those are the Amargosa sand dunes. Coming up in the distance, the Spring Mountains, where Mount Charleston is located. Area 51 Center, we gotta check that out. Okay, I'm going to park here in the truck parking area and see what this is all about. I can use a break, anyways. Although we've only been driving for about half an hour or so. Apparently, they do have a brothel. The Alien Cat House, no less. Yeah, I betcha it's as cheesy as it looks. Oh, brother.
There's the Alien Center, Area 51. There's really nothing more than this is just a gas station shop. I was thinking maybe they had souvenirs or some quirky stuff, but not really. There's a diner too, and a bar, I think. Let's go to Las Vegas.
Well, nothing to see here, really. Let's just make a non-stop run to our destination. We still have about an hour and a half, 2 hours maybe, depending on traffic. And I can't wait to see the Las Vegas skyline, the strip on the horizon. After so many days in the desert, a little bit of city life is actually welcome. Besides reconnecting with old friends, I have to do an oil change on the Colorado. Not me, the Chevy dealership. And the Colorado also in desperate need of a car wash. Beautiful drive, isn't it? Is that a Predator drone? It's gotta be. We're passing right next to the Creech Air Force Base, where they fly them from. There it is, the Strip. Our home for the next couple of days, Sam's Town Hotel and Gambling Hall. Well, not really, but they do have a KOA right next door.
Apparently the KOA is part of this Sam's Town Hotel and Gambling Hall. Yes.
Fairly standard RV park, but we're here mainly for the location. And it is a great location.
Well, good morning, everybody. Today we are going to Mount Charleston, and I'm joined by Rafa. We went to school together many years ago when we were younger and more restless. And his friend Lázaro back here. So it's about a 45-minute drive to Mount Charleston. So we're gonna check it out. It's full of snow, so it should be interesting.
We're gonna stop for a few minutes, take a break, fly the drone. Oh, it's going to be a winter wonderland. It is so beautiful out here. Let's stop here by the Visitor's Gateway.
Well, go figure. Today of all days, I forgot to bring my hiking shoes. Or my gloves. Or my beanie. Anyways, we're here on the mountain and we're gonna continue exploring. This is the visitor center, by the way, and we're gonna go inside now and see what they have. Beautiful day here in Nevada. No, not a cloud in the sky. A little bit chilly, snow on the ground, and this is probably ice. Yeah, solid rock. I don't know anything about snow, as you guys probably know.
Apparently, in 1955, this plane coming from Area 51 crashed nearby.
Here it is, the bent propeller.
Here's a memorial to the silent heroes of the Cold War. Very nice, warm visitor center with all kinds of information about the area, the fauna, the flora, Also very nice to defrost in here a little bit, because outside it is full of snow, and this tropical man is not used to it, nor did I come prepared. Here's the Mount Charleston Resort. We're gonna stop here real quick. It is all very pretty, but virtually deserted today. Animal tracks, I wonder. Ice, ice, baby. It is an ice stalactite, and it's melting. Are you cold there, buddy? You look cold. Let's go back. Check out the actual resort, the building. The pond, frozen solid. I wonder if I could walk on it. Let's defrost a little bit here in the lobby. Here's the restaurant and a nice bar, but there is not a whole lot going on today.
Should I or should I not? Maybe not. No swimming or fishing. Well, ice fishing perhaps today.
According to what I've heard, there are fish alive beneath the ice. We continue going up the frozen mountain, gaining elevation into the thin air, the temperature dropping quickly. Perfect occasion to fly the drone. There are several campgrounds up here, but they are all closed for the season. Except for one, I think. But with this amount of snow, I believe even that one is closed at the moment. Scenic overlook. Let's stop real quick. Although the parking lot hasn't been plowed yet, so we're just gonna have to pull over here on the side of the road.
This is the desert view overlook.
Oh yeah, I can already tell the view is going to be spectacular. What a great view of the Mojave Desert from here.
We've had some wildlife tracks here, and there appear to be some human tracks as well. Overlooking the nuclear test site here.
Yes, atomic tests. I think we might be going off trail here, but I'm just following these guys. They've been here before and they seem to know what they're doing.
It's pretty deep.
We're standing before the site where they had the atomic testings back in the 50s and 60s. This was what it was called the Nevada testing site. And they have here all kinds of literature explaining what happened here. I'm sinking in the snow.
Yeah, this is pretty deep. Check it out.
Of course, you guys in Ohio are going to be laughing at me, but I don't care.
We're going to continue a little further to the Lee Canyon Ski Resort. Here's the McWilliams campground, closed for the season, except for the campground host, I guess. Yep, definitely not in Florida anymore. Well, this is certainly very nice and unexpected. I certainly didn't know there was a ski resort so close to Las Vegas. By the way, skiing is one of those sports I wish I had learned at a younger age. Of course, I grew up at a place where it doesn't snow, so that complicates things. But it looks like so much fun. Well, I guess this would be technically snowboarding, but still, that's skiing. Very nice, I like it. Maybe I'll come back one of these days, take some lessons perhaps.
They have a grill and bar here.
All the trees have these ice stalactites, very cool. We're gonna start heading back to the parking lot.
Well, this one is not too bad, so we're gonna do it.
This is the Bristle Cone Trail, which is apparently very popular in the summer. And the little dog looks like it's cold. Today we're just going to walk for a few yards here, but who knows when I come back in the summer. Apparently, when it is 100 degrees down in Vegas, it is very pleasant up here. Who knew?
It's definitely a winter wonderland up here, and such a beautiful day. Oh, there's a nice view over there. I'm gonna show you right now. But you know, at least this trail is a little more hard packed, so we're not sinking into the ground. Because according to my friend Rafa, this metal bar here, it goes almost all the way up to your chest. So imagine if there was no snow. Well, if I sink to the ground, I'm gonna be sinking pretty deep. So no, I'm not gonna do it. But yeah, definitely a beautiful day. No wind, so the cold weather doesn't feel as cold as some other times. I see, oh, I'm sinking even here in the trail. Well, it's time to head back down. We only did like 1/10 of a mile, so don't be impressed. I believe this is the first time since the Grand Canyon like 7 years ago that I've done a video in the snow. Like really in the snow.
We keep going up and up and up towards Mount Charleston. It is 19 degrees Fahrenheit here near the top.
Starting to feel the chill in the air here. 19 degrees Fahrenheit, which is what, -10? No, not even. Here's a sorry attempt at a snowman, I guess. It looks more like the creature from Alien. Or, I don't know what it looks like. Anyway, this is Mount Charleston Logs and Cabins here. It's a lodge and cabins.
I'm sure that's a nice terrace to hang out in the summer. And these are like little greenhouses, perhaps? And what a beautiful place this is.
Well, now we're up here in the lodge, and it is starting to feel like the 19 degrees Fahrenheit that it is, which is -7 Celsius, which is okay. Laugh all you want, but for me that's really cold. Okay, well, I think we're gonna go down to a more temperate climate down in Las Vegas.
By the way, this is the Mount Charleston town. Very nice houses up here on the mountain. Must be nice. It is getting late, so we're definitely starting to feel the cold. And we're famished, so we are quickly going to go down to lower elevation. Okay, one last stop. More of a potty break, really.
Well, the sun's coming down here in the mountain.
Well, this was certainly a welcome change of scenery, especially for me. You know, I don't get to see snow much. Before we continue, I want to thank Rafa and his friend Lazaro for showing me such a great time here in their backyard, really. And I look forward to hopefully spending more time together in the future. Back to Las Vegas we go. There's downtown, and as we pan to the right here, we're gonna start seeing the Strip. The iconic Stratosphere Tower, of course. There's the Ferris wheel called the High Roller. You can kind of see the New York, and the Luxor Pyramid, and the Mandalay Bay. Home Sweet Home, Las Vegas KOA.
Tell you what, let's go for a little excursion. I'm inspired by those lights. Let's do it.
It's like all of a sudden I realized where I really was, and it would really be a crime not to see some shiny lights tonight. Let's begin by downtown, Fremont Street, Old Las Vegas, if you will. On this part of Fremont Street called Fremont East, they have placed all these restored vintage neon signs. It is really cool to see. The rest of Fremont Street is nowadays pedestrian only, of course, and that's where they have the LED canopy where they do the Fremont Street experience. There it is, the Fremont Street experience. And here to the right, the legendary Plaza Hotel. Let's go towards the Strip. I remember when they had a roller coaster on the top of the Stratosphere, That was during the late 90s, I guess, when they had this crazy idea to make Las Vegas a more family-friendly destination. I think they gave up on that, and the town has gone back to its sinful roots since then. Not even the creepy clown at the circus could change that image.
Greetings from fabulous Las Vegas.
Well, greetings. I am on my way to the Strip. It seems like a suitable place to do my customary Friday live stream, 6 p.m. Eastern, which is 3 p.m. in this time zone. And I'm going to park at the Westin. It is free and only about a block away from the Strip. Here we are, and on the map it did look like just one city block, but it turns out blocks around here by the Strip are really long, so it is almost a half-a-mile walk to what is officially called Las Vegas Boulevard. And fun fact, technically this is not Las Vegas proper but another city called Paradise. So Paradise City, like the Guns N' Roses song. Las Vegas Boulevard. Nothing comes close to it when it comes to shiny lights, even in the bright daylight. Very noisy around here though. Let me tell you, as much as I enjoy the sensory overload, I think I'm ready to go back to the desert. So if you'll join me tomorrow morning, we're heading towards Lake Mead. I've decided to do my live stream right here in front of the Bellagio. Seems like a good location.
Well, you're not gonna believe where I am. Today I'm coming to you from fabulous Las Vegas, Nevada. And this is the strip right here. That's the Paris, of course. I think the Eiffel Tower gave it away. And I'm standing here in front of the Bellagio.
The live stream was a success. Great bandwidth here considering the amount of people. Nice water show here at the Bellagio fountains. And we even had one of those only in Las Vegas moment.
Hi YouTube! What's up?
What's
Follow
up?
me on Instagram at
I'm telling you, only in Las Vegas.
Can I show my...
And if that didn't get me demonetized, well, the music from the fountains did. So you get to hear my own music. Tell you what, I could really use a nice cold IPA right now, so let's do that. So I stopped at this bar here called the Beer Park.
Cheers. Here's my $11 beer.
At least the location is great. I'm gonna do laundry real quick here and call it a night. And good morning from Las Vegas KOA at Sam's Town. Priced right, actually, considering the location. Before we go, I just realized I've never driven the strip with Minitini in tow, so we're gonna do that real quick. South to north, so we have the sun behind us. And then to Lake Mead we go. Ooh, my tonneau cover is so dirty. So to the left here, we're going to see the famous Welcome to Las Vegas sign. And the first hotel, also to the left here, is none other than the Mandalay Bay. Coming up next, the Luxor. Groundbreaking when it opened in 1993, and still, to this day, it has the strongest light beam in the world, shooting skyward from the top of the pyramid. Here's the Excalibur, part of that failed attempt in the 90s to make Las Vegas more family-friendly with all these themed hotels. Coming up, the New York, and the MGM Grand. Yep, the Strip, definitely a feast for the senses. There's the Aria. Now approaching the corner of the Paris and the Bellagio, where I did my live stream from. Then Bally's and Flamingo, and Caesar's Palace across the street. There's even a replica of the Fontana di Trevi, which I hear is prettier than the original, if that's even possible. Coming up next, the Venetian. Also with many replicas of famous buildings, landmarks, even canals with gondola rides. The Treasure Island with its pirate ships. This cool looking structure here coming up is a mall actually, called Fashion Show. Never actually being there, but then again I'm not too much into malls. Or fashion for that matter. Las Vegas, of course, a city always reinventing itself, hence there is always something under construction. Circus, that's where we stayed the first time we came to Vegas back in 2005. They even have an indoor amusement park. And we have reached the end of the strip. The Stratosphere Tower marking the northern end, although not officially considered part of the strip, believe it or not. And with that, now we are switching gears, heading east towards Lake Mead. Lake Mead National Recreation Area here is $25 per vehicle. But if you have an interagency annual pass like the $80 America the Beautiful National Park Service Pass that I have, you get in free or included with your pass. Amazing how you can drive a short distance from Las Vegas and encounter this landscape. Here we are, Boulder Beach. In my original plan, I wanted to stay at the campground here to the left, but I ended up making reservations at the RV park, which is called the Lake Mead RV Village instead. My mistake. I didn't really need full hookups today, but I'll take them. Actually, not bad. Not bad at all. Some of it is undergoing renovations, though.
Hey, check it out. Isn't this a nice view? Okay, I goofed. I think I came to the wrong place. I wanted to come to the Boulder Beach campground, and instead I came to the Lake Mead Village. They're next to each other. So I made a reservation at the wrong place. Doesn't matter. I'm finishing uploading a video and then we're gonna explore the area just a little bit. I think it might rain. Let's walk around a little bit while my file finishes uploading. Yeah, this is where I wanted to stay next door. Oh well.
Let's walk towards the lake.
Feels like the lake is really low, like the water level normally would almost get all the way up to here.
There, you can really see how low the water level really is. Quite astonishing, actually. I imagine Boulder Beach was probably really close to the campground back in the early 80s, when the water level was really high. Let's head back.
It has a little bit much of the RV park look. Which, nothing wrong with it, but I just prefer the campground look.
It is a beautiful area, and someone's flying a drone, although we're not supposed to, so I won't do it, just in case. I'm just gonna chill out, relax here for a little while, and then we're going for a hike. Take a look at those colors. Amazing. Let's check out the campground here next door real quick, which is, as I said earlier, where I wanted to camp originally.
You know, I thought I had made a mistake by going to the village, the RV park, instead of
turn left onto Lakeshore Road.
Instead of the campground, but the village is only it's only $10 more, and you get full hookups. So, yeah, I did all right.
Continue on Lakeshore Road for 1.5 miles.
Let's go for a hike.
There's the Hoover Dam Lodge. We are going to do the historic railroad trail, which normally goes all the way to Hoover Dam, But unfortunately, there is a section closed, so we'll do as much as possible. They have some of these signs which provide some historical context. There's the RV park where we're staying at, and this helicopter once again. Apparently it is a tour that takes off from the lodge. Wouldn't it be cool if we saw one of those? There's Lake Mead, well, what's left of it, in all its glory. And we've got the first tunnel coming up. More historical context here. Oh yeah, perfect spot to take a break.
I guess this is as far as we can go today. The tunnel is closed.
The hike would have definitely been a lot more interesting had we actually made it all the way to Hoover Dam, but still, we got to see some very nice views of Lake Mead, and the tunnels were pretty cool, although we didn't see any bats. There goes the chopper again. Hopefully, by the time I come again, the whole trail will be reopened and I get to show it to you. Because, you know, I'm coming back one of these days.
Well, yes, I said it would have been really neat to do the trail all the way to Hoover Dam, but this is pretty cool, just walking through these tunnels. I think if only for the views of Lake Mead alone, it is probably worth it.
Let's continue towards Hoover Dam. Since we couldn't walk to it, we're gonna drive to it. They do have a pretty thorough security checkpoint here. I mean, let's face it, I'm sure a lot of it is theater, but they did ask to check the cargo in the back under the tonneau cover. But, for example, they didn't care that I was carrying 5 gallons of fuel, so I don't really know what they were looking for. Anyways, let's stop here by the Memorial Bridge Plaza, mainly for the view. We've been here before, and it is a relatively new bridge, completed in 2010.
Well, there you go, the Nevada sign, and it looks like I just lost an hour. Because in theory, I'm in mountain time now, right? I guess technically until I cross the Colorado River, I'm not in mountain time, but this is the Mike O'Callaghan Pat Tillman Memorial Bridge, and very soon we're gonna see Hoover Dam from the middle of the bridge.
By the way, the bridge, it is the widest concrete arch in the Western Hemisphere, and it is the second highest bridge in the United States.
There it is, Hoover Dam.
And the views of Hoover Dam are pretty spectacular. It is a magnificent engineering marvel, isn't it? Actually, to be honest, what's coming up is the real engineering marvel, Hoover Dam. Built in the early 1930s during the Great Depression on the Colorado River between Nevada and Arizona. It was unprecedented at the time, since such a large concrete structure had never been built before, and even some of the techniques were unproven. Yep, pretty sketchy. Over 100 people died during its construction. The result? The largest reservoir by volume in the United States when it's full, also known as Lake Mead. Let's continue driving over the dam here onto the Arizona side and find parking. Really impressive. The size of the structure. I'm still flabbergasted at how low the water level is. I'm about to travel in time here, so I suppose we were somewhere up there, around that area. Okay, watch me travel in time here. It's 5:20 in Arizona, now it's 4:20 in Nevada. And I interrupted their picture. I'll travel in time once again on the way back. There are these Illuminati-looking statues, half man, half eagle, meant to symbolize the readiness for defense of our institutions and keeping of our spiritual eagles ever ready to be on the wing. I've always been intrigued by these Illuminati-looking sculptures here.
Directly in front of the monument.
They're saying what it means.
The castings are over 30 feet tall, weigh over 4 tons, and one of the largest monumental bronzes ever cast in the United States.
Right, I'm about to travel in time again. This time we're going from Nevada to Arizona. Right now, I'm here. I'm standing in both Nevada and Arizona. Arizona, Nevada. And it's also a mountain time zone and Pacific time zone. So. Oh, by the way, tip of the day. If you park on the Nevada side, it's $10. It's a garage. If you park at one of these parking lots, like the lookout points, it's free. You're welcome. It actually doesn't look as impressive on camera as it does in real life. Yeah, I'm not gonna take the tour today, but one of these days, we'll be back. I saw a video from 1983, and it looked like Niagara Falls was rushing through this spillway. I believe that's the highest the water level has ever been. Yeah, the sun goes down way too early this time of the year, which is, by the way, early February here. But it gives me an excuse to return one of these days with more time. And you know I will. I found this video I took when I came back in 2013, and the water level was noticeably higher. And with that, we're gonna say goodbye to Hoover Dam for now. There it is. Unfortunately, today, time is running out. There's so much more to explore. sweet home. The unique colors of the desert at sunset never cease to amaze me. What's for dinner? Well, burgers. Anyways, good night. Ooh, that's a pretty tight turn here, but here's the thing. I didn't feel like driving all around the entire RV park when I'm so close to the exit.
Continue on Lakeshore Road for 10 miles.
Okay, we're gonna go to this place called the Government Wash. I've seen other people camp there, and I do believe with the annual pass, it's free. Otherwise, you have to pay like $10 or something like that. Anyways, that's what we're gonna do. I'm gonna take a break there, have breakfast, and then we continue.
I don't know if you've noticed, but it is a gorgeous day. So I'm just gonna be stopping here and there whenever I see a cool scenic overlook like this one.
This is called Sunset View Scenic Overlook.
Sunday seems to be a slow day in these parts. There's virtually no one here.
Slow day for sure.
I see a bunch of RVs down there, so this must be it. By the way, very popular boondocking spot right here by the lake. Perhaps I should have stayed here instead of the RV park. Decisions. Well, this looks like a nice spot to have lunch.
Spinach and some of that onion and pepper frozen mix that I usually buy, and I put a little bit of cooking wine and a little bit of olive oil, and we're gonna cook that first. And then here I've got some eggs, and I added some mild salsa that I had there, and we're gonna do like a scrambled eggs thing. Should be delicious. Yep, that'll fill me up.
The journey continues. Towards the Valley of Fire we go. We came here a little over a year ago, and I want to do a couple of the hikes that we didn't get a chance to do back then. Such an amazing landscape, and we ain't seen nothing yet. I'm running kind of low on gas, and there's supposed to be a gas station here in Echo Bay, towards the northern end of Lake Mead. Is this it? Looks like a pump from the 1980s. Tell you what, I don't feel like walking to the store and paying and then coming back, so we're going to continue. I still have plenty of gas to get to the next town, and if I run out, if worse comes to worse, it's not the end of the world. I have a 5-gallon jug back there, meant for the generator, but I could use it for the truck in an emergency. And here we are, Instagram moment. By the way, the National Park annual pass is no good here. This is a Nevada state park.
Hi.
It's gonna be $10.
All right.
Are you gonna camp?
Nah, just a couple hours.
Tape that 10 to your windshield.
Here we are, Valley of Fire State Park. Let's do the hike to Elephant Rock.
Last time we were here, I was under the impression that the Elephant Rock Trail was much longer. That's in part why we didn't do it back then. Oh, what a strange planet this is. And there it is. Do you see the resemblance? Actually, it is kind of like a Monet. Once you get closer, it doesn't quite look like an elephant anymore. As I said, we've been here before, but never with Minitini the trailer in tow. So it should be a cool drive from the perspective of the rooftop camera. From any perspective, really, this place is out of this world.
Oh, might as well, I'm here. I was just gonna do the elephant, but I thought the elephant was gonna be more. So let's just, do a little more. I'm not gonna do the whole park, but let's drive around at least, to the Rainbow Vista, it's called. I wanted to hike that one last time, but that one was a little longer.
There's the visitor center, which we are not going to visit. We're gonna continue. This here is called Mouse's Tank Road, and it goes to the northern end of the park. In my opinion, the most beautiful part. I feel compelled to cut parts of this for the sake of brevity, but it is just too beautiful of a drive. There are several trailheads along the way, but I have one in mind. It is called the Rainbow Vista. Oh well, the trailhead parking lot seems to be full.
As you saw, there was no parking over there. I'm gonna wait it out and see if there is parking when I come back. But for now, let's see this Silica Dome formation here. Hopefully there is parking.
Another unbelievable landscape here, let me tell you. Can you believe I hadn't heard of this place until last year when Paul Sharon of the Motorhome Experiment told me about it? It is one of those under the radar places, I guess. But let me tell you, totally worth a visit. Anywhere you look, in any direction, it is amazing. This is the famous Silica Dome, by the way.
I thought it said oversized vehicle parking, but it says bus unloading only.
Well, while we're here, might as well go all the way near the end, to the Fire Wave. That's the trail that we did last year when we were here. And one of these days, let me tell you, I'd love to camp here in the park and spend a few days, do a few hikes. There is so much to see here. I'm gonna turn around here at the Fire Wave trailhead, and hopefully we can find parking now at the Rainbow Vista. Busy Sunday here at the park. Somewhere down there is the Fire Wave, and if you haven't seen that video, do check it out. No RV on that one, but the video itself is pretty awesome, if I may say so myself. This isn't really gonna work now, is it? I'm too wide. How about here? Yeah, this is perfect. Let's do it. Should be a relatively easy trail, 1.5 miles or so round trip. Some parts not very well marked, but I think I can find my way back if worse comes to worse. Surreal. I hope the camera can capture what my eyes are capturing. The golden color of these formations here. It's incredible. And of course over there... Of course, there's too much wind, so I'll narrate from here on. They even have a sign with a camera icon at the best vantage points. I found out, after the fact of course, that I was supposed to climb one of these hills for a better view, but you know what, I'm not complaining. The colors are amazing. I guess that was the rainbow. And now we're going into the Fire Canyon. All of a sudden it got cloudy. Well, perhaps I spoke too soon when I said it was a very easy trail, because you just had to there's some climbing involved. Let's just put it that way. I mean, it is easy for the most part. It's just a couple of spots. It's actually very, very fine sand here on the floor. Sand and rocks, you see? It's a very fine sand. Like red sand, like if we were in Mars. Look at that, this is amazing. I think we've reached the end. Yeah, I don't think we can go any further. What an amazing view, though. Check out that distant snow-capped mountain.
Well, time to go back. I'd say that was definitely worth the price of admission here. Very cool hike. I just love these layers on the rock. They're everywhere. Anyways, I hope we don't get too much wind noise here on the video. I'm gonna head back, and I have no idea what time is it. Is I have it on my mileage count. I've walked. I've walked only half a mile, really, 0.55 miles. So it's not a long. I mean, unless you're supposed to continue going, which I don't think so. Now we continue. I did bring my water. Look at that. It looks like an upside down canoe. Doesn't that look like a dog face?
Here's looking back towards the canyon.
The canyon actually looks a lot nicer when the sun hits it, doesn't it? We've got some rolling clouds. This cactus here. And when you see people on the trail, you get an idea of scale. You know, it is really magnificent. Ooh-ah. Okay, I guess this is a shortcut towards the parking lot. So I see what they meant by 1 3/4 miles. It's the whole thing. It's not one way, but it is like a loop. And now we're looping back around here. All right, this was fun. A very well marked trail in this part. Because that's the rainbow. At the time I didn't realize. Well, we're almost back and right on time to leave a Valley of Fire. And around 3 p.m. I have 2 hours of sunlight, so I must find a camping or a boondocking location within the next 2 hours. Shouldn't be hard.
Let's hit the road.
I'm gonna try to do a U-way here. Should be able to. Uh-oh. I think I hit something. Yeah, I hit a rock. Valley of Fire has left its indelible mark on my new truck. Okay, I don't want to risk it. I don't want to risk a U-turn. So I'm just gonna
Head
go
south on Mouse's Tank Road, White Domes Road toward Rainbow Vista.
So I'm just gonna do a U-turn further down.
Well, as I said, we have about 2 hours of daylight left, and I have several options between here and Zion National Park. There are a couple of BLM lands, state parks, but I think my best choice is going to be the Walmart at Mesquite, Nevada, right before the Arizona state line. Yeah, we have to cross a little bit of Arizona before we get to Utah. Wherever I want to be, 'cause I'm free in my RV. Yeah, I'm riding, I'm riding in my RV, wherever I want to be, 'cause I'm free in my RV. Yeah. Anyways, here we are, the RV-friendly Walmart Supercenter in Mesquite, Nevada, our home for the night.
Bro, what do you know? They say Walmart. Look at the view. Check out the mountains.
It is very windy, and tonight it is going to be very cold, but tomorrow we are going to Zion National Park. Bucket list, baby.
Beautiful. By the way, this is the town of Mesquite in Clark County, Nevada. The next Walmart in Arizona is not RV friendly, so this is the one.
Well, anyways, good night.